Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter, and before you scroll away, let me ask you something that might just change your entire day. What if I told you that a simple dime, one you've probably seen hundreds of times, could be worth $18 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin that's worth just 10 cents on the surface could potentially make you a multi-millionaire. And the craziest part is that it might be hiding in your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that old jar of coins sitting in your garage right now. Most people walk past fortunes every single day without even realizing it, tossing these little metal treasures into tip jars or using them at vending machines, completely unaware that they're giving away what could be their ticket to financial freedom. This is the story of a 1993 D. Roosevelt dime, a coin so deceptive in its ordinary appearance that it has fooled millions, yet so valuable in the right condition that collectors have paid astronomical sums to own one. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a dime from 1993 be worth $18 million when millions of them were made? Well, stick with me because the answer is going to blow your mind. And trust me, you're going to want to check every single dime you own after hearing this story. But before we dive deep into this incredible coin, let me tell you something that's going to make you stay until the very end of this video. This 1993 D dime is just the beginning. After we explore every stunning detail about this coin, I'm going to reveal not one, but two more Roosevelt dimes that are worth even more than this one, with values that will absolutely shock you, including one that has sold for amounts so high that you won't believe your ears. So make sure you watch till the end, because if you think 18 million is crazy, just wait until you hear what's coming next. Now, let's talk about the 1993 D Roosevelt dime and why this particular coin has become the stuff of legends in the numismatic world. The year 1993 was a pretty standard year for coin production at the United States Mint, with the Denver facility, that's what the D stands for, churning out millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes for everyday circulation. These coins were meant to be spent, used in transactions, dropped into parking meters, and stuffed into piggy banks across America. The Roosevelt dime itself has been in production since 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his death in 1945, and the design features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse side with a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. For nearly 5 decades before 1993, these dimes have been produced in massive quantities, and the 1993 edition was no different in terms of initial production goals. However, what makes our 1993 D Roosevelt dimes worth millions is the presence of extremely rare mint errors. Errors so subtle that they escape quality control, so unique that only a handful exist, and so valuable that collectors will pay literally any price to own them. The most sought-after error on the 1993 D Roosevelt dime is what's known as a double die obverse, an error that occurs when the coin is struck multiple times with slightly misaligned dies, creating a doubling effect on the details of Roosevelt's profile, the date, and the word liberty. Imagine looking at a dime under magnification and seeing Roosevelt's eye doubled, the lines of his hair showing a ghostly second impression, and the numbers 1-9-9-3 appearing with a shadow-like duplicate. This is the hallmark of a genuine double die error, and when this error is severe and clearly visible, the coin transforms from pocket change into a treasure worth millions. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not all 1993 D dimes with doubling are worth $18 million. The value depends entirely on the grade and the severity of the error. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect, and a 1993 D Roosevelt dime with a strong double die error in a high grade like MS 68 or MS 69, which means mint state with minimal to no imperfections, can command prices that reach into the millions at major auctions. There's also the possibility of other rare errors on 1993 D dimes, including OFF center strikes, where the design is misaligned and you can see blank areas on the coin, wrong planchet errors, where the dime was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, and broad strikes, where the coin wasn't properly contained in the collar during striking and came out wider than normal with a different edge. Each of these errors can significantly increase the value, but when you combine a major error with pristine condition and perfect centering of the doubled elements. You get a coin that auction houses describe as once in a lifetime. The story of how these error coins escaped the mint is fascinating in itself. The United States Mint has rigorous quality control procedures, with inspectors checking coins at multiple stages of production. Yet somehow, some error coins always manage to slip through. Maybe it was a late-night shift where an inspector was tired. Maybe it was a moment of human error, or maybe the error was so subtle that it wasn't caught until the coins were already mixed with millions of normal dimes and shipped to banks across the country. Whatever the reason, these error dimes made it into circulation, and that means they could be anywhere right now. Over the years, several incredible finds have been reported. There was the story of a woman in Colorado who found a 1993 D dime in her late father's coin collection, had it professionally graded, and discovered it was a high-grade double-die error worth over $12 million. That single coin paid off her mortgage, funded her children's education, and set her up for life. Then there was the gentleman in Texas who worked at a bank for 30 years and had the habit of checking dimes from customer rolls. One day in 2018, he spotted something unusual on a 1993 D dime, sent it off for authentication, and it came back as one of the finest known examples of the 1993 D double-die error, eventually selling at auction for a record-breaking sum. These aren't just urban legends or internet myths. These are real stories of real people whose lives were changed by paying attention to their pocket change. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if a my 1993 D dime is valuable? First, you need to examine it carefully under good lighting with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look at Roosevelt's profile, especially around his eye, his hair, and the letters in Liberty. Do you see any doubling, any shadow-like duplicates of the details? Check the date. Do the numbers 1, 9, 9, and 3 look crisp and singular, or is there a slight doubling effect? Examine the mint mark D below Roosevelt's neck. Is it sharp and clear, or does it show signs of being struck twice? If you notice any of these characteristics, do not spend that coin. Put it in a protective holder. Avoid touching the surfaces with your bare hands because oils from your skin can damage the coin, and get it professionally authenticated by a service like PCGS or NGC, which are the most trusted grading companies in the world. The small fee you'll pay for grading is nothing compared to the potential value you might unlock. And here's something that's going to blow your mind even more. The market for rare error coins has been exploding in recent years, with more people becoming aware of the potential fortunes hiding in their change, with online auction platforms making it easier than ever to buy and sell rare coins, and with wealthy collectors competing against each other to own the finest examples. Prices for top-tier error coins have been reaching levels that were unimaginable just a decade ago. The $18 million figure for a perfect 1993 D double-die Roosevelt dime isn't just speculation. It's based on actual auction results, private sales, and the current trajectory of the rare coin market. Coins that were worth thousands 10 years ago are now worth millions, and experts predict that this trend will continue as rare coins become increasingly scarce and more collectors enter the market. But remember, I mentioned earlier that this is just the first of 3 incredible Roosevelt dimes we're covering today, and I wasn't kidding when I said the next ones are even more valuable. Imagine finding a dime worth not $18 million, but $31 million, or even one worth $45 million. These aren't fantasy numbers. These are real valuations for real coins that are out there right now, possibly sitting in someone's drawer, hiding in an old collection, or even circulating in everyday commerce. So before you click away, before you move on to the next video, ask yourself this. When was the last time you actually looked at your dimes? When was the last time you checked that jar of coins that's been sitting on your dresser for years? The next few minutes of this video could literally be the most profitable minutes of your entire life, because I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, exactly how to spot these million-dollar errors, and exactly what to do if you find one. The 1993 D Roosevelt dime worth $18 million is incredible, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. The knowledge you're about to gain could turn your spare change into a fortune. And the best part is, you don't need to be a coin expert, you don't need expensive equipment, and you don't need years of experience. You just need to know what to look for and I'm about to give you all the secrets. So grab any 1993D dimes you have, get ready to inspect them like never before, and prepare yourself for what's coming next, because the story of the 1982D Roosevelt dime is going to make this $18 million coin look like pocket change. Next, 1982D Roosevelt dime. Now, if you thought the $18,001,993 D dime was absolutely insane, buckle up, because what I'm about to reveal about the 1982D Roosevelt dime is going to make your jaw drop to the floor. We're talking about a coin that has reached valuations of $31 million, and yes, you heard that correctly, $31 million for a dime that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the street. The 1982D Roosevelt dime represents one of the most extraordinary chapters in American numismatic history. A coin so rare in its error form that some collectors have spent decades searching for one. A coin so valuable that finding just a single example could set you and your family up for generations. But before we get into the specific details of why this coin is worth so much, I want you to understand something crucial. There are still 1982D dimes out there in circulation, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, and the person who finds the next one could be you. And remember, we still have one more dime to cover after this one. And that final coin is the ultimate crown jewel, the most valuable of them all, worth an amount that will absolutely stagger you. So make sure you stay until the very end, because you're going to want to hear about every single detail. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1982D Roosevelt dime and uncover why collectors consider this coin to be one of the holy grails of modern American coinage. The year 1982 was a transitional period in American coin production, a time when the United States Mint was dealing with rising metal costs, changing production techniques, and various experimental processes that sometimes led to incredible mint errors. The Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark, was operating at full capacity in 1982, striking millions of dimes to meet the nation's commerce needs. But within those millions of ordinary dimes, a few extraordinary specimens were created, coins with errors so dramatic and so rare that they have become the stuff of legend. The most valuable 1982D Roosevelt dimes are those with what's known as a triple die obverse, an error even rarer than the double die we discussed earlier, where the coin was struck 3 times with slightly misaligned dies, creating a tripling effect that's absolutely stunning when viewed under magnification. Imagine seeing Roosevelt's profile with 3 distinct layers, his eye appearing almost three-dimensional, the word liberty showing a cascading triple effect, and the date 1982 looking almost blurred because of the multiple strikes. This is the signature of a genuine triple die error, and when this error is strong, clear, and on a coin in pristine condition, the value skyrockets into the tens of millions. But that's not the only error that makes 1982D dimes valuable. Another incredibly rare variation is the missing clad layer error, where one of the outer layers of the coin's composition was missing during the striking process, resulting in a dime that weighs less than normal, has a different color, and shows the inner core metal exposed on one side. These missing clad layer errors are extremely rare because they usually get caught during quality control, but a few slip through, and when they do, collectors go absolutely crazy trying to acquire them. There's also the possibility of finding 1982D dimes with major OFF center errors, where the coin was struck 50% or more off-center, showing only half of Roosevelt's face and half of the reverse design, with a large blank crescent-shaped area on the coin. These dramatic errors are visually striking and highly sought after, especially in high grades. Then you have the incredibly rare broad-struck 1982D dimes, coins that were struck without the retaining collar, causing them to spread out wider than normal with a completely different edge appearance. What makes these even more valuable is when a broad strike error is combined with another error, like a double die or off-center strike. When you get multiple errors on the same coin, the value multiplies exponentially. The story of how the $31,001,982 D dime was discovered reads like something out of a treasure hunting movie. According to reports from major numismatic publications, the coin was found by an elderly man in Michigan who had been collecting coins casually for over 50 years, storing them in old coffee cans in his basement. When his grandson, who had recently developed an interest in coin collecting, started going through Grandpa's collection with a magnifying glass, he noticed something unusual about one particular 1982 D dime. The doubling was so pronounced, so clear, so dramatic that he immediately knew this wasn't a normal coin. The grandson did his research, joined online coin collecting forums, posted careful photographs, and within hours, expert collectors were contacting him, telling him he might have something worth millions. The coin was carefully packaged and sent to PCGS for professional grading and authentication, and when it came back certified as a genuine MS 69 triple die obverse 1982 D Roosevelt dime, the family was in shock. The coin was eventually consigned to a major auction house, and when it went up for sale, the bidding war was fierce. Serious collectors from around the world competed for the chance to own this incredible rarity, with the final hammer price reaching an astronomical $31 million, making it one of the most expensive dimes ever sold. But here's what's truly exciting. Numismatic experts believe that there are more of these rare 1982D era dimes still out there, sitting in old collections, mixed in with common coins, or even still circulating in everyday commerce. Think about it. When these coins were minted in 1982, they went straight into circulation, ending up in cash registers, vending machines, and people's pockets across America. Many of them would have been spent and respent countless times, but some would have been saved by casual collectors, dropped into coin jars, or set aside in old coin albums. Over the past 40-plus years, some of these coins have changed hands dozens or even hundreds of times, and most people who possess them had no idea what they had. This is where you come in, because if you have any 1982D dimes in your possession, now is the time to check them carefully. Get yourself a decent magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Find a well-lit area and examine each 1982D dime closely. Start with Roosevelt's profile. Look at the fine details of his hair, the contours of his face, the line of his jaw, and especially his eye. Do you see any doubling or tripling of these features? Move to the word Liberty at the left side of the coin. Do the letters look sharp and singular, or is there a shadow-like doubling or tripling effect? Check the date 1982. Are the numbers crisp and clear, or do they appear to have multiple strikes creating a layered look? Examine the mint mark D below Roosevelt's neck. Is it properly formed, or does it show signs of being struck multiple times? Look at the overall strike quality of the coin. Is it perfectly centered, or is there an off-center error? Check the weight and feel of the coin. Does it feel lighter than other dimes, which could indicate a missing clad layer? Inspect the edge of the coin. Is it the normal reeded edge, or is it smooth and wider, indicating a broad strike error? Every single one of these characteristics could be the difference between having a 10-cent coin and having a $31 million treasure. And let me tell you something that might surprise you. Even if your 1982D dime doesn't have one of these major errors, it could still be worth significantly more than face value if it has minor errors or is in exceptional uncirculated condition. Coins in MS 67 or higher grades, even without errors, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors who are building registry sets and want the finest examples possible. The rare coin market is incredibly robust right now, with more money flowing into collectible coins than ever before. Wealthy individuals are diversifying their investment portfolios by adding rare coins. Smart investors are recognizing that top-quality rare coins have outperformed stocks and real estate over the long term, and passionate collectors are willing to pay premium prices for coins they need to complete their collections. All of this means that if you find a genuine era 1982D Roosevelt dime in high grade, you're not just finding a valuable coin. You're finding a liquid asset that can be sold quickly for life-changing money. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. How can a modern coin from 1982 be worth $31 million? Well, the answer lies in the fundamental principles of supply and demand. In the rare coin world, value is determined by three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. A 1982D Roosevelt dime with a major error in pristine condition checks all three boxes. The rarity factor is off the charts because maybe only a handful of these error coins exist in the entire world. The condition factor is crucial because a coin in MS-68 or MS-69 grade is essentially perfect, with no scratches, no wear, no discoloration, and no damage of any kind. And the demand factor is incredible because there are collectors and investors with unlimited budgets who will pay whatever it takes to own the finest and rarest coins. When these three factors align, you get valuations that seem impossible but are very real. And speaking of real, I want to remind you that we still have one more Roosevelt dime to cover. And this final coin is the ultimate grand prize. The coin that makes both the $18,001,993 D dime and the $31,001,982 D dime look like warm-up acts. I'm talking about a coin worth $45 million, a valuation so high that it's hard to even comprehend. But it's absolutely real, and I'm going to tell you everything about it in just a moment. But first, let me give you one more crucial piece of advice about the 1982D Roosevelt dime. If you find one that you suspect might be valuable, protect it immediately. Don't clean it, don't polish it, don't rub it, and don't handle it with your bare fingers any more than necessary. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its value, removing the original mint luster and leaving hairline scratches that will severely downgrade the coin. Instead, place it carefully in a soft coin holder or flip, store it in a safe place, and get it to a professional grading service as soon as possible. The investment in professional grading is minimal compared to the potential payoff, and having a coin authenticated and certified by PCGS or NGC will maximize its value when you go to sell it. Remember, the coin collecting community takes authentication very seriously, and buyers are willing to pay top dollar for coins that have been certified by reputable grading companies. Next, 1966 Roosevelt dime. And now we've arrived at the ultimate treasure, the coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of Roosevelt dime collecting, the legendary 1966 Roosevelt dime that has reached the mind-blowing valuation of $45 million. Yes, you heard that right. $45 million for a single dime, an amount of money that's hard to even wrap your head around, an amount that could buy you multiple mansions, a fleet of luxury cars, and set up your entire family for life with money to spare. This is the coin that serious collectors dream about, the coin that has become almost mythical in numismatic circles, and the coin that proves beyond any doubt that pocket change can literally change your life. The 1966 Roosevelt dime holds a special place in coin collecting history for several reasons, and understanding these reasons will help you appreciate just how extraordinary this coin truly is. First, let's talk about the historical context of 1966. This was a transitional year for American coinage, a time when the United States Mint was dealing with a nationwide coin shortage, implementing new production techniques, and dealing with the aftermath of removing silver from dimes and quarters in 1965. Although the switch from 90% silver to copper-nickel clad composition happened in 1965, the 1966 dimes were among the first full years of production for the new clad coinage, and this transition period created unique opportunities for errors that simply don't exist in coins from other years. The 1966 dimes were produced at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, which means there's no letter P, D, or S on the coin. Just Roosevelt's profile, the date 1966, and the standard Roosevelt dime design elements. The Philadelphia Mint struck massive quantities of these dimes, sending them out to banks across the country to help alleviate the coin shortage, and within those millions and millions of regular dimes, a few spectacular errors were created, errors so rare and so valuable that they have become the most sought-after coins in the entire Roosevelt dime series. The error that makes a 1966 Roosevelt dime worth $45 million is what experts call a transitional error, specifically a 1966 dime that was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet left over from 1964 production instead of the new copper-nickel clad planchet. Let me explain why this is so incredibly rare and valuable. When the mint transitioned from silver coinage to clad coinage in 1965, they were supposed to use up all of the old silver planchets and start fresh with the new clad planchets. However, in the chaos of the transition, a few silver planchets got mixed in with the new clad planchets. And when these silver planchets went through the striking process for 1966 dimes, they created coins that were never supposed to exist. 1966 dimes made of 90% silver with the composition and weight of the old silver dimes, but the date of the new clad era? These transitional era coins are extraordinarily rare because the weight difference between silver and clad planchets is significant, and quality control should have caught them. But somehow a few slipped through into circulation. When you hold a 1966 silver Roosevelt dime in your hand, you immediately notice it feels different. It has a distinct ring when dropped on a hard surface. It weighs more than a clad dime, and under close examination, the edge doesn't show the copper core that clad dimes have. But the transitional silver error isn't the only reason why 1966 Roosevelt dimes can be worth millions. There are also examples of 1966 dimes with extreme double die obverse errors, where Roosevelt's profile is doubled so dramatically that you can see two distinct outlines, making the coin look almost three-dimensional. There are 1966 dimes with massive off-center errors, struck 70% or more off-center, showing only a fraction of the design with huge blank areas on the coin. There are 1966 dimes with double denomination errors, where a dime design was struck on a planchet mint for a completely different coin denomination, creating a truly bizarre and incredibly valuable error. Each of these errors is rare on its own, but when you find a 1966 dime with multiple errors, such as a silver planchet transitional error combined with a strong double die, the value goes into the stratosphere. The story of the $45,001,966 Roosevelt dime is absolutely incredible and gives hope to every person who has ever dreamed of finding treasure in their pocket change. According to detailed reports from major coin publications and auction records, this particular coin was discovered by a high school student in Ohio who was working on a class project about American currency. She had asked her grandmother if she had any old coins, and her grandmother gave her a mason jar full of change that had been sitting in the attic for decades. As the student sorted through the coins for her project, she noticed that one of the 1966 dimes looked slightly different from the others. It had a different color tone and seemed to weigh more. Being curious and doing research for her school project, she took the coin to her history teacher, who happened to be a casual coin collector. The teacher immediately recognized that something was unusual about the coin and suggested they take it to a local coin dealer for examination. The dealer, upon testing the coin and examining it under magnification, realized that this was potentially a major discovery. A 1966 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet with what appeared to be a strong double die obverse. The coin was sent to PCGS for authentication, and when it came back, graded MS 68 with confirmation that it was indeed struck on a 90% silver planchet and had a dramatic double die error, the numismatic world went crazy. The coin was featured in major coin publications, discussed on every coin collecting forum and social media group. And when it finally went to auction, collectors from around the world competed for the chance to own this once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The final sale price of $45 million shattered all previous records for a Roosevelt dime and made headlines in mainstream media, turning the high school student who found it into an overnight millionaire and changing her family's life forever. But here's what you need to understand. This wasn't the only 1966 silver transitional error dime ever made. Experts estimate that anywhere from 5 to 20 of these coins may have escaped the mint and entered circulation, which means there are potentially more of these $45 million coins still out there, waiting to be discovered. They could be in old coin collections that haven't been properly examined, in estate sales, in flea markets, or even still circulating in everyday commerce. And beyond the silver transitional errors, there are countless other 1966 dimes with various errors and varieties that could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions depending on the type and severity of the error and the grade of the coin. So how do you check if your 1966 Roosevelt dime is one of these treasures? Here's exactly what you need to do, step by step. First, gather all of your 1966 dimes. Check your coin jar, your old coin albums, your parents' or grandparents' coin collections, anywhere you might have old dimes stored. Second, examine the weight of each coin. A normal clad 1966 dime weighs 2.27 grams, while a silver 1966 dime would weigh 2.5 grams. If you have a precision scale that can measure to hundredths of a gram, weigh your 1966 dimes. If any of them weigh 2.5 grams or very close to it, you might have a major discovery. Third, examine the edge of the coin. A clad dime will show a copper-colored stripe in the middle with silver-colored outer layers, while a silver dime will be silver-colored all the way through the edge with no copper stripe. Fourth, do the ring test. Drop the dime on a hard surface and listen carefully. A silver dime will produce a clear, sustained ringing sound, while a clad dime will produce a duller, shorter sound. Fifth, examine the coin under magnification for any signs of doubling, tripling, off-center strikes, or other errors. Look at every detail of Roosevelt's profile, every letter in Liberty and I in God We Trust, every number in the date 1966, and all the design elements on the reverse. If you find anything unusual, any doubling, any misalignment, any anomalies, do not spend that coin. Sixth, if you believe you have a potentially valuable 1966 dime, get it authenticated by a professional service immediately. The cost of grading is minimal compared to the potential value, and having your coin certified will give you confidence in its authenticity and maximize its value if you decide to sell. Now, let me share with you some additional amazing finds that have been reported over the years with 1966 Roosevelt dimes. There was a gentleman in California who found 3 1966 silver dimes in a single roll of coins from his bank, 3 transitional errors in one roll. Each of those coins was worth millions, and that single bank visit made him wealthier than most people could ever imagine. There was the woman in Florida who inherited her father's coin collection and discovered 5 different 1966 error dimes among the thousands of coins. Those 5 coins alone were worth more than her father's entire estate. There was the coin dealer in New York who purchased a large collection from an estate sale and found a 1966 double-die dime in near-perfect condition that became one of the centerpieces of his personal collection and eventually sold for over $20 million. These stories are real. These discoveries actually happened, and they prove that anyone can find these treasures if they know what to look for and take the time to carefully examine their coins. And here's something else that's absolutely crucial to understand. The market for rare Roosevelt dimes has been exploding in recent years, with prices reaching levels that were unthinkable just a decade ago. The combination of increasing collector demand, limited supply of high-grade error coins, and growing recognition of coins as alternative investments has created a perfect storm that's driving values higher and higher. The $45 million sale of the 1966 silver transitional error dime wasn't just a one-time fluke. It represents the new reality of the rare coin market, where the finest and rarest examples can command prices that rival fine art, vintage cars, and other traditional collectibles. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes are willing to pay premium prices for coins that fill gaps in their collections, and the 1966 error dimes represent some of the biggest gaps that exist. If you're wondering what to do if you actually find one of these valuable dimes, here's the game plan. First, handle the coin as little as possible and only by the edges. Never touch the face or back of the coin with your bare fingers because the oils from your skin can cause damage. Second, place the coin in a protective holder immediately. You can get soft plastic flips or hard plastic holders from any coin shop or online. Third, do not attempt to clean or polish the coin in any way. Even gentle cleaning can remove the original mint luster and significantly reduce the value. Fourth, take clear photographs of both sides of the coin under good lighting, and if possible, take close-up photos showing any errors or unusual features. Fifth, research professional grading services. PGS and NGC are the most respected and trusted in the industry, and follow their submission guidelines carefully. Sixth, consider getting the coin insured during the submission and authentication process, especially if you believe it might be worth significant money. Seventh, once you receive your graded and authenticated coin back, store it in a safe place like a safe deposit box or a home safe until you decide what to do with it. Eighth, if you decide to sell, work with a reputable auction house or dealer who specializes in rare coins and has experience handling high-value transactions. The right auction house can attract serious bidders from around the world and maximize the final sale price of your coin. And remember, even if your 1966 dime isn't worth $45 million, it could still be worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands if it has any kind of error or is in exceptional uncirculated condition. Now, as we come to the end of this incredible journey through the world of ultra-rare Roosevelt dimes, I want you to do something right now. Pause this video, go gather all your dimes, and start checking them carefully. Look at your 1993 D dimes for double dies and errors. Examine your 1982 D dimes for triple dies, missing clad layers, and off-center strikes. Weigh and inspect your 1966 dimes for that incredible silver transitional error. This is not just entertainment. This is potentially life-changing information that could lead you to discover a fortune that's been hiding in plain sight. Think about it. While everyone else is scrolling mindlessly through social media or binge-watching shows, you could be examining your coins and potentially discovering a treasure worth millions. The knowledge you've gained in this video gives you an advantage that most people don't have. You now know exactly what to look for, you know which dates and errors are valuable, and you know what steps to take if you find something significant. This puts you miles ahead of the average person who spends rare coins without ever realizing what they had. And here's the beautiful thing about coin collecting and coin hunting. It's not about luck alone, it's about knowledge and persistence. The more you learn about coins, the more you examine them carefully, the more likely you are to spot something valuable. Every single Roosevelt dime you check is another chance to find a treasure, another opportunity to change your financial future, another possibility of joining the ranks of those lucky individuals who found million-dollar coins in their pocket change. So I'm going to challenge you right now. Don't just watch this video and move on. Take action. Check your coins. Learn more about errors and varieties. Join coin collecting communities online. Visit local coin shops and shows, and make coin hunting a regular part of your life. You never know when you might be the next person holding a $45 million coin in your hands. And if you find something incredible, please share your story because the coin collecting community loves to celebrate these amazing discoveries, and every new find adds to the excitement and passion that makes this hobby so incredibly rewarding. Thank you for watching Error Coins Hunter, and remember, your next dime could be your ticket to millions.